Well, we know that there was another gunman incident in Tulsa recently, but not random. This is one of those other, we always talk about you'd rather not have someone on the street that just kills randomly. And I agree. I would also rather not have this guy on the street. He killed 4 people. He wounded many others in an Oklahoma medical building Wednesday. He was the patient of the doctor he was gunning for, according to the Tulsa police officer. Police chief.
There's been a few of those.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
Do we know what?
I'll tell you. Yeah. CNN reports that the shooter, who police also found dead, shot and killed Dr. Preston Phillips in a medical building on the campus of St. Francis Hospital in Tulsa. Apparently, he had back surgery on May 19th, performed by Phillips, and subsequently called several times over several days complaining of pain and wanting additional treatment.
He went in for hand surgery.
That's right. He saw Dr. Phillips again for treatment and then called him again. And that's when he started shooting and then said apparently he would shoot anyone that got in his way.
I wouldn't want to be a back surgeon, and I'll tell you why. Because when you do knees and hip replacements, that's just a mechanical function.
Yeah, just a swap.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone I know, half the people who have back pain have legitimate back pain, and the other half are nuts, and it's all kind of psychosomatic, and there's a pain pill, opioid version of this, and then some people...
It often ends up worse?
Yes, some people say they got back surgery and it's worse. A lot of people go, never get back surgery. Yeah. You should just be stretching and doing all sorts of therapies. Right.
That's the Warriors coach, Steve Kerr. He was out for like half a season a few years ago. And
did he get surgery?
His whole back surgery, whole thing was what you just said, was he would go to his press conferences and be like, guys, don't get back surgery. It's a nightmare. Just, work out therapeutically.
Wow. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there's a way to remedy everything. It just involves a lot of work that nobody ever wants to do.
No.
But
wait, are you saying I could have stretched my boobs smaller?
You could have.
I didn't realize that.
Great soundbite.
There is a version that if everyone probably engaged in these therapeutic endeavors involving 45 minutes in the yoga ball every day, that they may not have gone under the knife. But then you're dealing with a group of people who may be a little nuts. And so you're never really going to be able to cure them because they're opioid addicted and or insane. So now, again, you get a hip replacement, a knee, a nose job. Pretty straightforward shit. The back, no telling if you've cured anybody.
Well, that's a 50-50 roll of the dice, I feel like. I think a lot of people, too, don't want surgery, but then the idea of surgery sounds like it translates to, fixing the problem.
Yeah, one and done.
And then some of them also are like, ooh, and think of all the pills I'll get.
I got to say, surgery while lying, I sleep on my belly. Yeah. Surgery while on my belly sounds pleasing to me.
Sure.
Oh, relaxing.
You got your dick on the business end of the gurney. Right. You know what I mean? It's not just flapping. It's not just flapping in the wind while you got the Jesus juice.
I never thought about that. Yeah,
that's your dick flopping in the wind.
Sure.
By the way, you just set up this great scenario where I picture a guy first time getting surgery, not knowing anything about it, and he lays down and he's on his back, and then maybe he's getting a knee thing or an ankle, and then they're like, all right, well, we're gonna put you to sleep. Just count down from 10. He's like, whoa. You're not going to do anything to my dick, are you?
Well, there's phantom boner. I mean, who knows?
You get hard during surgery?
Well.
What are you thinking about?
Who knows?
Can you get a boner in a coma?
Here's my point.
A coma
boner? I love that children's book.
Like, you can.
Judy Bloom, shout out.
You can impregnate someone who's in a coma.
That's true.
That
We've
much
proven
I've figured out.
We've done that news story.
I don't know if there's ever been more grounds for firing. Somebody worked at a hospital.
Yeah.
Like the janitor who wasn't taking care of the women's room very well. Maybe you give him a slap on the wrist. But if you impregnate someone who's in this facility in a coma, which definitely happens.
Yes, I think it was Arizona.
It's every state in the union.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's quite frequent.
Oh,
I've heard of stories of people performing things on people when they're under in the dentist's office.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the coma.
The coma seems like.
It has to happen because you're taking guys with a GED and you're telling them, here's the key ring, make sure all the lights are shut off before you leave the hospital. And there's Terry Schiavo over there.
And you work graveyard alone.
And you've been stood up 3 Saturdays in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
You're blowing my mind right now.
I'm saying,
what do they do to Shivo?
if I was getting, not her specifically, but
Adam, please.
I followed that story.
I'm saying, if I'm getting surgery, I want to be laying down on my belly with my face through one of those massage donut holes.
Yeah, no harm, no
and
foul.
I want them on the small of my back. I don't want to be on my back, possible phantom boner, possible diddling.
drop.
There's digit dropping and diddling
Hey,
going
man.
on.
A lot
We
of
don't
people
know.
induced into comas during COVID.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Necessarily.
Oh, boy.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
each
you're
one,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, my. I never thought about that.
Do you ever see those videos of people coming right out of surgery when they're still? There's compilation videos of people that
they're
are just
great.
high on.
How about
gas
the
or
guy?
pills.
How about the guy who impregnated the gal who's in the coma?
It was a guy that did a gal.
Yeah. We can talk to Matt Walsh about it, but yeah, normally that's how it works. But I'm just saying, he's probably there at some point when someone realizes she's pregnant. Now, how much concern and surprise? You know what I mean? You don't want to overdo it.
Right.
But you don't
Again,
want to be
Dateline.
kind of, what's going on here?
No way. At
Yeah,
this,
like, do you-
this
I'd be
hospital?
curious.
Do you drop the mop?
It's got to be Dave,
Or
right? I
just
mean,
like
he's the
mine.
creepiest
Break
one
them
of
off
all.
over your knee.
You're going like, this is disgusting.
No.
Like, do you protest too
No,
much?
you got to play it down the middle.
Yeah.
Or do you work like the OJ angle? Like, we got to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
We got to figure out
Yes.
who did
That's
this.
it.
You go too
Yes.
hard, but what if they start looking around?
No, you start dropping like Dave has to pick up a couple of night shifts.
You go, Dave, I didn't trust that guy.
But you can't
I
bring
saw-
it up because it's a whoever smelt the Delta thing, right?
No,
you
you
have to
gotta
wait till
s- you
someone.
have-
Yeah,
Plant
somebody
the
else has to
seed.
discover it.
Yeah.
And then you jump on that horse pretty quick
You
and go,
gotta-
I did hear.
You
Or
got to
you-
blame the part-time guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to say you never trusted
Unfortunately.
him. And you got to do weird things. Like
He's never here full time, man. What's he doing?
I showed up Wednesday, left to the bathroom. He's washing his hands when he
Yeah.
walked.
He brought his own soap.
Brought his
Something
own
seemed
soap.
That
right.
was weird.
The Make-A-Wish kid was here a long time.
But don't protest too much.
Yeah.
No.
Don't go too hard.
No. We've seen it in every interrogation
Appalled, disgusted,
And
judgmental,
shocked.
room. Shocked and judgmental. Who did this?
Who on earth?
We're not gonna stop until we find him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we gave everyone a great idea.
Emmy, there are those stories. You can look them up.
Yeah, you want to play it
It's-
cool
It happens a
in
lot.
those things if you are getting prosecuted like that. That's why I think Jay Depp pulled out with a victory because they were
Right.
like, "Do you remember this?" And he was like, "I was fucked up. I don't remember. How could I hit her if I was asleep?"
Oh, wow. We're going to get into that in just a second.
Do you want to get too defensive? Like, do you
No.
want to go like, well, maybe he was trying to knock her out of her coma. Like, maybe this is a goodwill ambassador. Like,
I think
maybe
you want
he
to
was
hold
doing
off
his
on
part.
that logic
Yeah.
That's the
until
last thing you want
Yeah,
to
that's
do.
the last thing. That's
So
welcome
don't
back to
work
the last
that
thing to bring
angle.
up. Yeah.
Don't work the hero angle.
No.
Well, they say playing music they remember could bring them out of it. Well, how about a good stupping?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really shake them by the
I
lapel.
found her diary. Maybe it said, if I do fall into a coma, these are the 3 things I want.
Yeah, it was a fantasy.
They're like,
Well,
"Where's
it
the diary?"
reminded-
It's like, "Well, I threw it away. Obviously,
you
it's
guys-
private information."
Tell me, when I was trying to sell my used pickup truck to a guy once,
Go on.
and it was an old Datsun pickup truck, and I bought an aftermarket fender and replaced it, those weird gray primer
Oh, yeah.
ones, the loser pickup
Yeah,
trucks
yeah.
with the different
Doesn't match
color.
the car, yeah.
And it didn't fit very well because it was repopped in
Sure.
China, and the gaps were all bad, and it was like the Armo guy was like, and what happened here? Whoever put this fender on, who put this fender on? This is the worst work I've ever seen. And of course, I'm like, I don't know who did it. I don't know who did it.
We should
It was
find that
way."
guy.
And he goes, whoever did it, he should have his hands cut off. And then I got defensive. I was like, well, that sounds a little right.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
not
Come on,
bad.
that sounds
Maybe
like
the guy
too
tried
much.
his best.
You know what
It's
I mean?
bad, it's not a crime.
Yeah, and then I started defending my work through this person. And I'm wondering if it's the same with the coma guy.
Right.
If
You don't know what he's
I
been
get
through.
too defensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy.
This guy's a sicko. This motherfucker.
Maybe he's
is
blowing off a little steam.
No,
you don't
he
know?
should burn him alive.
Burn him alive. What year is it?
Flay him. Take his skin off. It's disgusting.
You
Pervert.
don't know. Well, unless you've walked a mile in a man's shoes, Brian, I suggest you get off of Mount Pius.
Yeah, man.
Save the judgment. We'll all
Sicko.
be
This
judged.
monster walks
Who are
among
you,
us.
St. Peter? My maker will judge me, not you. Not a.
You said you're.
Yeah.
As though you're putting yourselves in the shoes of the perpetrator.
Well, obviously, he's not in the room to defend himself unless that was me, but it wouldn't be. So he wouldn't be here.
Airtight logic.
That's right.
Wow. Well done.
Emmy, is there there must be multiple stories of people in
know there's one the
comas
last
that were
couple of years.
impregnated.
Poor
Yeah,
Amy
did
search
that.
history.
God.
I know.
It's a producer for 2 weeks.
Take
Probably a
that saves their
Pornhub
job.
category.
That's got to be a tough phone call for the supervising nurse. Like, has to call the family. Like, okay, big time medical news going on with your daughter. She snapped out of it.
She's back.
This is different.
Signs of life, brain activity.
Signs of life. You're onto something.
God.
There also has to be like a 3 Mississippi, like where you go, like, Brian, you call me, I'll be the dad, and you tell me she's pregnant. Hello?
Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Yes, this is Joe from the nursing award where your daughter is. Good news, there are signs of life. Yes,
Whoa, good.
Yeah, it's unprecedented. You should come down.
No, just tell me on the phone. I can't wait. I'm too excited.
She's pregnant with a baby.
Oh, right. Wait, she's out of the coma?
That's the thing.
Oh, yuck! 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 That's all you could do,
reaction,
right?
Mr. Smith.
Oh,
That's good.
we have a story of a woman who was in 2019. A woman's in a 14-year coma, and the nurse got her pregnant.
Yeah. I think it was Arizona or New Mexico. Yeah.
I think it's sadly
Arizona.
happened more than once. So
You're
there you
saying
go.
it's prevalent, which really fucks me
At
up.
what year?
Oh, wake up, Gina.
Oh, God.
Oh, wake
be
up.
I
naive.
really,
Don't
yeah,
be-
I guess I've been naive.
14 years. At what year did he go, all right, she ain't waking up?
Gotta make the move.
It's Judgment Day.
The long
you're
con.
right.
Yeah, like did he? Was he like enough of being a good guy? I'm tired of having to walk in and look at this hot, lifeless body. Like it's been
Atrophy.
8 years.
Yeah.
Like what is it? How do you reason with that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I do feel like
Month 2, year 14.
you'd have to, like, I wouldn't attempt to do that just
At all.
willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, you're right, at all. But you're
what
right.
he
No,
meant.
Adam's right. Adam's right. We'll leave it at that. Just at all.
Okay. I did have an interesting fact I heard on the way here that I wanted to share with you guys in terms of like, we're talking about red flag laws. First of all, Oklahoma would like to do what Florida does because Florida has red flag laws and it apparently saves more than 5,000 people since 2018. So that's something. But I heard on the way here, I think it was a New York Times podcast. Do you know where open carry laws in California, when that got fucking demolished, and why? Because it was all good in California to open carry.
Hinkley?
No. But there is a connection. What I was listening to on the way here is that the Black Panthers in the Bay Area, like in Oakland, were like, look, police aren't helping us. We don't own property, so they're not coming here to protect us. We're going to protect ourselves. And so they started arming themselves. Freaked out Whitey. They did not want these guys walking around with guns. And Governor Reagan signed it because Whitey did not like the optics and was kind of freaking everybody out to see these guys carrying guns.
Huh. I
Isn't that
didn't know that.
interesting?
Yeah.
So let's move on to the trial of the century, shall we? We know what happened now. Johnny Depp basically won the defamation trial against Amber Heard. The jury found that Heard had defamed Depp in the 2018 Washington Post op-ed and awarded him $15 million in damages. More on that in a second. The decision came after 6 weeks of trial, 3 days of deliberation. Heard was in Fairfax for the reading. Johnny Depp was on stage with Jeff Beck in England and couldn't be bothered to show up for it. Heard was awarded $2 million in damages after the jury found that one of Depp's lawyers, the Waldman statements, as they started calling it, made a defamatory statement against her. But here's where the money comes in. And I learned this, credit where credit is due, from the Nancy Grace podcast. So Depp's not actually going to get $15 million. She said on the podcast that he'll end up getting around $8 million because in Virginia, there's a cap of how much you can get for punitive damages, and that cap is $350. And that was where his $10 million was coming from. So $10 million becomes $350 minus the $2 million he owes Amber. So it comes out to about $8.35.
As long as I can do Finding Neverland 2, I'll be fine.
I think you're going to be back on your feet now,
I hope
Johnny.
so. Well, that's why I went to go hang out with Beck, because I didn't feel like I needed to be there live and look at that smug.
Yeah, you did say she'd never see your
Twat.
eyes again.
Yeah, you can't look at my eyes.
You know, I
Or
do
my
have
TV.
a... Yeah.
Man, we have a clip of Nancy Grace saying that she said you violated her with a bottle.
Well, who
the
hasn't,
way.
Adam?
If.
It's
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to get with it.
Also, it wasn't a wine bottle. It was a squeeze-it bottle. Those are shaped like dildos.
Oh, really?
You know,
Much more pliable.
fun fact, the guy who came up with the squeeze-it is the guy who came up with the dildo. I bet you didn't know that, did you?
I don't want to critique your Johnny Depp impersonation, but never say fun fact in Johnny Depp's voice. Other than that, you're dead nuts on.
It's really good.
Johnny never said fun fact. He said those two words separately.
I apologize.
But he's never put them together.
It's the Four Loko talking. It's every fact out of Johnny's mouth is fun. It should be assumed.
Now, do you think she goes lesbian at this point?
She already did.
She's already there.
Well, yeah, isn't she? She had a lady friend, Tasha Van Rees.
Oh, that's it.
And then I heard, but I could be wrong because we're not friends. You know, she had a baby named Una that nobody really knows what's up with that. But that she might be in a relationship right now with a lady.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
Is she claiming Johnny made her gay?
That would be a tough sell because she was with a lady before that. But remember, Kate Moss, who he hasn't been in a relationship with since the 90s, showed up via Zoom to testify on his behalf. She apparently, her team subpoenaed the girl, Tasha Van Rees or Sear or whatever her name is, Elon Musk and James Franco. None of them showed up to testify for Amber.
I know the lawyer made that comment at one point. What's the lawyer? She's now famous.
Camille Vasquez.
Yeah. She was like, isn't it interesting, Miss Heard, that your sister is the only one who showed up here to back you up. Everyone else is like a paid, a sister. And look at all these people that came to, speak on Johnny's behalf. And like, no one is, it was just like in the middle of like, look how no one fucking thinks you're, not full of shit.
Right. Now, I will say that the Elaine Bredehoft, she was the lawyer for Amber Heard, who, I think there was an acrimonious relationship between them, but she was on.
She dropped the ball.
Yeah, they I don't think they got along super well, but she was on whatever. What does Gayle King host now?
Gayle King Tonight.
Thank you. One of those, and she said that there was a bunch of stuff in the England trial with the son about him assaulting her, and that the judge signed off on it and believed it completely. That was not allowed to be brought up here.
Do you think Oprah has another friend who she doesn't do anything for? You know what I mean? Like, there's a third friend that's really tight with Oprah, but no TV appearances, no shows with her name on it.
Probably.
She must have a third friend who's pissed.
How did Gayle get picked?
Yeah, they were young friends together, both working.
Are you asking, are there other Oprah besties out there that are just like,
we have never heard
always
of.
emailing her like, I've got a book idea.
Right.
And she's like, we're good.
Right.
We're good. I'm working on Gail's show. So, and she's like, Gail gets a lot, doesn't she?
Gotta love Gail.
Gotta love Gail.
And they were like, remember, I met you like 6 months before you met Gail. And I introduced you to Gail and said you guys will get along real well.
Doesn't ring a bell.
And so I got this
I'm the one who came
idea.
up with the Oprah soups,
Yeah. She's got to have other friends she's not doing anything for.
Yeah, totally. So now everybody's come out of the woodwork to talk about, is this a giant step back for people believing women? And I don't think so. That's what her lawyer wants everyone to believe. But it's like, don't you have more respect for a group of people who are clearly in some ways policing themselves? Doesn't that give more credibility?
Well,
you don't just believe, the
rules can't be if you don't believe a crazy woman, then you've set the entire movement back. It flies in the face of why we have a judicial system.
Well, guess who disagrees with you? Amber Heard, because she put out a statement. It was all about that. She said, the disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed for what this verdict means for women. It sets back the idea that violence against women should be taken seriously. I'm sad I lost this case, but I'm sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as American to speak freely and openly.
Is sadder a word, or is it more sad?
More sad.
Yeah, see, right there, I'm out.
Sadder, she's crazy. And
to lump you now into all women, I mean, I don't know. Not that every trial should be assessed on like believability, but like, I don't know if you should be, if it happened and all these things truly you experienced are like, you can tap back into that. I think most people that we've seen that have like, whether it's the Michael Jackson doc or whatever, you can see in people's eyes and face like things that like it just seemed too like she was trying to what's what I'm looking for? Just fabricate and like just get the emotion, like get herself to that place. Like she was on set and just I didn't buy most of it.
Well,
I think they both are a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Oh yeah, but to your point, didn't Camille Vasquez at one point or one of the attorneys say, like, we called upon your acting coach, and even they said that you have a problem producing tears when you're acting?
Well,
awesome.
To Adam Ray's point, there's kind of a referendum on her acting ability, right? She couldn't convince a jury that this thing was true.
No.
Yeah. So how are we supposed to think you should be in Aquaman 3?
I think there's something going on, which I've talked to Dr. Drew about a long time. When somebody's victimized, I don't mean by Johnny Depp, I mean by the family of origin. You know what I mean? When someone then
early trauma.
The difference between the truth and what's going on in their head can often be a huge chasm. So, like, if you think about someone who was like beaked out of their brain on mushrooms, you would say this is happening, but it's not actually happening, but it's happening in your mind, and it happened in her mind. So I don't even know that she's a liar per se.
That's the question.
When
Does
you're
she believe it?
when you're traumatized, it's really hard to figure out where this. Where this begins and this ends, where the truth begins and the lies end. And that's why I think it's confusing, because I think in her world, she's going, this is what happened. All the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are going, no, this is not what we saw happen, but it happened to her in her mind.
It's funny you should say that, because I was watching Whitney Cummings and Tiffany Haddish talking about it, and Whitney Cummings said exactly that. Like, if you have like that early childhood trauma, whatever, you need to heal yourself so you don't damage other people.
Well, it's a big. I've known this from a million years from doing Loveline, which is. And it's kind of a third rail, because you're saying I was raped or I was victimized or I was abused. A lot of it is a recreation of an abuse that took place many years ago before you had any control over your environment. But if you bring that up, then you're the worst person in the world, because you're talking about them recreating something, and thus they're culpable in it. And it's something, if you do Loveline and you talk to as many fucked up teens as we've talked to, it's prevalent, it's all over the place, and now we won't be able to escape it, because it transcends lying or trying to hammer a paycheck or get a payday. It's like, if you were ritualistically abused or abused, how many people sadly are being abused or traumatized in this country, then you will relive it or reconstruct it in some way, and or summon it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're
a magnet for it.
You will figure out a way to get what would be a normally passive person to actually raise their voice and maybe their hand in a vodka bottle at you at some point to recreate it. And now it's the tale that never ends.
Sounds like you're saying it's her truth.
Yes, and then we get into her truth, and now we're in the abyss when we start getting into her truth and his truth.
And make no mistake, being in a relationship or being married to an addict would fucking suck if they were constantly just like passing out or drunk. I mean, it's very, very tedious to be in a situation like that.
It could be fun too, though. Like, do the voice, do the Captain Sparrow voice, Jack. I
there's got to be a lot of Jack Sparrows at those pirate parties you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be the belle of the ball.
But it's not like, innocent, like the best little like angel saint. Like, I'm sure whatever to both of them. But like, I do the way that his attorneys made her out to be by Dr. Curry or whatever, is that borderline personality, histrionic. Like, these can tend to be people who are looking for people to prey upon, and it's pretty easy to prey on someone when they're wasted.
Yeah.
And just getting going career-wise, and you get with Johnny fucking Depp.
After Elon Musk.
And then it's just like anybody. It's like a
young
young
Elon was after.
Oh, was that the rebound?
I think.
It's like a young comic that gets on a show. They're a year in, they get on, like, let's say they're at a Supernova show, right? And it's fucking Carolla and, Damon Wayans and Bill Burr and Spade. And they're a year in, they're like, oh, they're on the flyer. So like, I'm a heavy hitter now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every young comic goes through it. You just trick yourself because you want to be better than you are early on. And so I feel like it's almost like she got with him and was just like, Oscars are just
In
around
the
the
fast
corner.
lane.
You know what I'm saying? And so she just kind of like tricked herself into that, and then it wasn't happening. So then that's why you could hear in some of these tapes too that she was, like jealous of him. His family had nothing to do with her until she got with him, and then it was like frustration over her own career setbacks.
Well,
And
also, I got to believe the bloom was off the rose pretty quick because Johnny spoke so slowly that imagine like going through a drive-through, like it In and Out
Sure, let's
with
do it.
Johnny Depp.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Hi, may I take your order, please?
Well,
You be Amber Heard. Go ahead and order quick, Gina.
Hi, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get a double-double and
sounds
fries,
good.
Large fry.
protein style, and
style.
Arnold Palmer, but a little more tea than lemonade.
All right, and what else?
Oh, Johnny?
do you guys have cake?
You got a horn honk, Brian? Do you
No,
have a horn honk?
I don't think they do cake here, Johnny.
Excuse me, we don't have cake.
Is there diet ketchup?
We have Heinz. You could use less of it.
Yeah, hurry up because there's people behind us. It's stacking up.
Oh, well, it takes time. McDonald's is a complicated menu.
We're In and
We're
Out.
not even
In and
at
Out.
McDonald's.
In and Out burger.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
So we have the protein style double-double.
Yeah, I'll have the double-double.
Large fry.
Large fry, animal style.
Animal style.
And then
Vanilla
Arnold-
shake?
Supersize my pickle? That's not a euphemism.
No, sorry.
No, it's just-
Would you like to order?
I don't even think they have pickles,
Sure, I'll
Johnny.
have, do you have Fresca?
No, we have lemonade.
Boy, this is a
we
very,
have Coca-Cola.
menu.
We have,
Hurry up.
we
For a
have
pla-
Coca-Cola products.
for a place
two
called
burgers.
for a place called In-N-Out, this is taking way too long.
It sure
we
is.
There's a long line of cars stacking
just
up
want-
behind
do you
each
just
other.
want
Maybe
like
if
a
you had
cheeseburger?
a QR code for the menu so I don't have to stare into this.
There's literally a car hop next to you holding the
Is that
menu.
a Toyota Corolla?
Yeah, what of it? I mean, who cares? I mean, here it's a quality automobile.
Okay, I'll have 2 French fries.
Okay,
Two
we
orders of
just have
French
we do a
meat
small
patty.
fry.
If you could wrap the patty around the fry.
We can't. There is no style. We do almost
How about
everything.
just a plate of mustard
We
next
don't,
to a chicken
they're
nugget?
in packets. We'll,
They don't have
Okay,
chicken.
We'll do a
15
small
packets
fry.
in the drink cup.
15 packets of mustard.
In the drink cup
All right,
with a
could
straw.
you guys just pull up to the window and you can climb through the window and
I
just
don't
help
think
yourself
I like
to
your
what you
attitude
think
right now.
I don't want to get into it, but
Have you seen Chocolat?
chocolate?
It's one of his movies, Chocolat. Come on.
You want a chocolate shake?
A chocolate shake.
A lot of chocolate shakes?
A chocolate shake.
A lot of. You want a large chocolate shake?
What is that, a grande?
It's just we speak English here. Could you? I don't know what country you're from. Could you just come up to the window
Neither do I.
and
He's
I'll
from
let
Kentucky.
you in and you just gather what you want in your shirt?
I have a coupon for a pirate party. I'll trade you for a McFlurry.
We don't redeem coupons here, sir.
I thought you were
You
Burger
got a
King.
huge stack of cars backed up behind
They
you.
can
But
wait.
just-
It's
pay
worth
for
the
your
wait.
meal if
Isn't
we
that
just
your
go.
slogan? It's worth
There's
the
a guy
wait.
in the Carolla says he'll pay for the meal. Now, if you could just order, if you could articulate what that meal might be, we could just get this going.
That's John Tesh. He'll wait.
John Tesh,
He's behind me.
favorite crooner and balladeer.
Yes.
I don't even know. I think I made up a word. Yeah. Could you imagine having to go through a drive-through with John?
No. Jesus Christ.
All right.
I think that helped him.
Let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
What do I do with all these farts?
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
Adam Ray is going to be at Mic Drop Comedy Club. That'll be June 3rd through the 4th, or as some would say, and the 4th.
Yeah.
And then Flappers coming up. That'll be June 5th. And then Laugh Factory out here June 14th in L.A. About Last Night, the podcast. You can listen to wherever you find finer podcasts. Matt Walsh, What is a Woman? The doc is out as we speak, and you can grab it on the Daily Wire. I'm doing live shows everywhere. You can go to AdamCarolla.com for all my live shows.
I was just in Denver at Comedy Works, and so many people came out to me who were Carolla fans that were like here from the show, and they were like, "I'm coming back to see Ace and the fucking crew."
good.
So
Sweet.
very cool, man.
Well, come out and say hi the 24th and 25th. Until next time, I'm Carolla for Adam Ray and Matt Walsh and Gina Grad and Bo Bryan. Say it. Mahalo.
It's late at night. You should be tired, but you're shaking uncontrollably.
That's awesome.
Oh, heel.
Can I buy you guys at least one drink just to celebrate?
This is a smart cocktail.
Just put some on his finger, just a little on your lips.